Caitlin from Texas says, and this is actually a good friend of mine, and she is just about as into apologetics as I am, and she actually is an author on my blog, Defending Christianity blog. She asked, "What advice do you have for remaining humble as an apologist?"
Well, I'll tell you, I just wrote a book called 10 Steps to Humility and How I Made It in 7, which is really humble of me, Levi, because I actually made it in 6. Okay, I'm just letting you know. No, gee, how do you remain humble? Well, one of the things I think you always have to do is try and remember that people ought not agree with you. In other words, you shouldn't expect everyone to agree with you. Why should you expect everyone to agree with you? You don't know where somebody's coming from. You don't know what kind of background they have, what kind of education they have, what kind of likes and dislikes they've had. You know, someone on a college campus gives me a hostile question, or they want to fight back a little bit. That doesn't offend me at all. Why should it? Why should I expect this 20-year-old young man or woman to agree with me? Why should I expect them to agree with me? I mean, when I was their age, I didn't agree with me now. So like, we're all in a process of learning. And Paul says this, I think he says this in 1 Timothy. He says, I was an insolent and arrogant man when I persecuted the church, but Christ showed me mercy. And so we ought to keep reminding ourselves that without Christ, none of us are going to make it. We're no better than anyone else without Christ. Oh, sure, maybe we're more moral than other people, but we're still an infinitely long way away from the standard. It doesn't really do us any good. Okay,
yeah. My thoughts are higher than
we
your
still
thoughts.
all need a savior.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody put it this way: evangelism is just one beggar showing another beggar where the food is. And by the way, the more you get into apologetics, the more you get into looking for evidence for the faith,
the more you realize what you don't know.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you might know a lot. You might know a lot more than other people, but there's so much you don't know. And there's so much I don't know. In fact, I agree with my mentor, Dr. Geisler. He used to say this, and I think it's true in my own life. On the bigger issues, I'm more certain. On the lesser issues, I'm less certain as time goes on. And what I mean by that is, on the big issues, is there a God? Did Jesus die and rise from the dead? Are we saved by grace rather than works? Yeah, I'm more certain about that than anything. I'm more certain about the essentials. But on secondary questions, like how old is the universe, or what's the best end times view, or other questions that Christians argue over, I'm going, I don't know, man. You could be right on that one. You could be right on this one. I see evidence on both sides. I think on the age issue, I think the evidence is better that the universe is old, but I could be wrong. On the end times question, I don't know what position to take, because I know people way smarter than me who have studied it more. They're just as conservative as I am. They believe in the inerrant Bible, and they come to different conclusions. So I go, look, I'm not on the planning committee. I'm on the welcoming committee. When Jesus shows up, I'll welcome him, but I'm not trying to plan his return. Okay.
I love that. I think I'm going to use that.
All right, good.
For it.